South Indian tradition, when a girl has her first period, it is celebrated. You know, it's her birthday, kind of something.
It's the stage where every child is growing. So, you know, be it a boy, be it a girl. So we just ask parents to, you know, to give that safe environment firstly to talk about it.
Hey guys, this is Raashi.
This is Kajol.
And we present to you another episode of
The Weird and Wise podcast. So today among us we have Miss Arusha, the Community Manager for Kamakhya, India. Kamakhya is a social enterprise that began its journey between the years 2019 and 20. And since then, they have been on a path to promote sustainable and eco-friendly periods and busting a lot of myths around menstruation.
So it's great to have you here. And I really wanted to ask that we have come across a lot of NGOs catering to a diverse range of social motives. But especially when I came around Kamakhya like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was in awe to see finally that there is an institution which is doing something about such a taboo topic. So what was the reason behind choosing menstruation?
So actually, when we talk about women-oriented or women-centric organization, or be it the workplace or anything to do with women, especially all the menstruator, I would say, that's the last thing that we prioritize, because we have other responsibilities to do, you know, be it your family responsibility, work responsibilities. So that was the thing which was least concerned, which has to be your priority, first priority. So that eventually came, but the idea was to promote sustainability and eradicate period poverty. So as soon as we stepped into the society to, you know, just have a look, so what we got to know that there is so much of period poverty in the country that, you know, there were so many villages where our team members went, and they could see that people have no access to the pads. They are using sand or leaf or XYZ, like, you know, so many things instead of pads. You know, we just had this thing in the mind ki, you know, people use cloth pad ya kapda use kar liya, but that was not the case. We found out that, you know, kahiyon ke paas wo kapda bhi nahi hai. So that's how we thought that, you know, if this is the problem, then how can we solve it? So that's how we came up with the idea of cloth pad, where, you know, all the menstruators who can't afford the pads, like normal commercialized pads which are non-biodegradable. So when I talk about non-biodegradable, so these pads that we use are actually made out of plastic, and they don't actually, you know, recycle or biodegrade, or, you know, they just don't leave the planet more than, like, they take 500 to n number of years to just decompose. So that was the one thing, like, you know, first was period poverty eradication. So that helped, like, you know, this cloth pad, if I talk about, it's reusable. So that's something that is economical. And then second thing was, it's not harming the environment because you can reuse it, and it's a cloth. So every time, even if you dispose it, you know that this will biodegrade in certain period of time. And that's how the, you know, idea came up that we should actually talk about it. It's not just how to use the products. There are other things also that we need to talk about that comes with periods. Like, you know, if we talk about girl who's about to get her periods, so she should also know what will happen in my body. Like, what are the puberty changes that will come in my body? If you are a female, or you are a menstruator who is already menstruating, but you might not know what is regular period, what is irregular periods. And then there are chances, there are situations when, you know, a menstruator reaches at the age around 45 to 50, they see, you know, symptoms like, you know, missing the periods, then, you know, just nausea, just sweating any time of the day, but they don't know that they are going closer to the menopause. So, you know, all these things, we started noticing that this is lagging so much in the environment and around the people. So that's how we started, and, you know, we are blessed that, you know, we were just appreciated at all the steps in every stage of the growth. So that's it, like, that's the reason we just wanted to just take ahead this topic.
That's so great. Now, I am very fascinated with the name Kamakhya. So I just want to know the inspiration behind it. Like, What is it?
I can dot a few lines to the Kamakhya Devi temple.
So Kamakhya is a Kamakhya Devi temple, which is admired as the bleeding goddess. So it's in Guwahati, Assam. So it is said that Hindu goddess Shakti, her womb and vagina is in that temple. So every year in June, she bleeds. So the Brahmaputra river there, it turns red. And people consider it that this is because the vagina in the womb, which is there, it is bleeding. That's the reason it turns into red. And you will find people like there is a mela also, like full fest is going on where people are standing in queues with a white napkin or something that they take and actually get the blood. So yeah, that was the inspiration to the name.
It is so inspiring to hear this, that at one part of the country we are actually worshipping menstruation, but there are still so many corners in the world, in the country, where it is considered to be such an impure activity. For what reason, I have never come to know about it. But the work that you guys do, it is just so inspiring, and especially reaching out to the rural pockets. They don't even have the basic understanding of what it is, and leave about the rural pockets, even about the modern society. We as people, we have such educated people around us, but it often gets uncomfortable for us too, because of the notions that still prevail in the society. So
I remember like the first time my school conducted a period talk, all the girls were brought to an auditorium, all the doors were locked and only female teachers were present, and it was basically, I must be around 14 and 15, and I was like, what is happening? I mean, is it such a stigma that we can't even talk about it in front of the guys?
So just to add, we take many modules. So one of them is, we do kids module, we do adolescents, we do for the 18 and above, and then we do non-menstruator let's talk periods. So if we go to any school or any institution or any place, so we ask them to get boys as well, because it is very necessary for them also to know, because it's not that just to eradicate the or just destigmatize the taboos that they have. It's just that in future they'll have sisters, maybe they'll get married, of course they'll have girlfriends. Anything and everything is possible, and not just that, it's just the comfort and environment that you create for your own people, so you feel comfortable as a menstruator, so you can talk to another menstruator about it. And there are situations when we go take modules, there are people nowadays they are coming up because of internet and everything, but still again internet shows you what not. It will show you anything and everything. So it gets I feel it's very much important for parents to give them the right knowledge at the right age, so they don't end up going on a Google, because वहाँ filter knowledge नहीं आता है. If you put anything and everything, you never know what you will get, and one thing will lead to another thing. So that's very important, and it's very important to just talk about it openly.
I totally agree with you, because during periods हमारे बॉडी में इतना कुछ चल रहा होता है, hormones, we are PMSing, ovulation. So sometimes guys are not able to understand कि what is happening with us. They'll just wave it off कि क्या mood swings हो रहे, just go and deal with it. हर महीने का, exactly.
No, that's what we try to tell them, that it's not just uska man nahi hai, it's just the body is not accepting it, and that's the reason. And best you can do is just walk up to a girl if you know, and to walk up to her, you have to give her that safe environment when she can talk about it, like and if you feel, there are boys like we take sessions and they're like, so we don't ask them to put questions openly, because at times they are also shy. So we do kind of fish pond where they can write their questions. So there are boys who would want to just make any menstruator comfortable around them. So we just tell them that you just have to walk up to a girl and be like, listen, I understand what you are going through, I am here for you, just let me know if I can do anything. I mean, this statement can also help a lot, because there are girls who don't enjoy. मतलब मुझे अगर कोई पूछ रहा है, for example, if I don't like someone coming to my space during that time, then I would not like him coming and walking up to me. But again, he has to make me like, I have to trust him enough that if I am talking XYZ or, saying any complaint of mine or, not complain, I would say, if I openly talk about my periods to him, he's not going behind my back and making fun out of it with other friends. That's the environment you have to create to, just talk about it. It's very open. Like, we have a game where we give 30-40 seconds and you have to just write nicknames. And बहुत बार ऐसा होता है that group has 5 boys and 1 girl. And they're discussing and they're writing. So when you can discuss and write about it, why can't you just give one word like periods or menstruating and just talk about it rather than that time of the month, I am chumming. It gets very easier for you also to talk about it.
Yes, and most of the time, all we need is a non-judgmental environment around us. We are not asking you to bring bouquets of flowers or chocolates or gourmet foods, but all we need is just understand what we are going through, and we know that it's not easy for the people around us also to accept the way the influx of emotions that we go through, but even a little try goes a long way for us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Another thing is we know we have good access. We are privileged to have access to healthy, hygienic products and everything. But if we go to the rural area, there are quite a lot of people who do not have the privilege for this. And at times I also feel that unke dimag mein they have this particular notion related to menstruation. So ek baar ke liye in our society, we can work and try to break these. But when we go there, it becomes quite a task to help them change that notion.
So to add to this, like recently we did pad distributions with many organizations, or we do donation camps also. So to a surprise, we got to know that rural people, they have healthier periods than we do. And guess what was the reason behind it? Because all they eat is good food, like good food as in we eat so much of junk. It's bad that they can't afford junk. That's the reason eventually they end up eating ghar ka khana. But again, that's the reason which is helping them to maintain the blood flow or anything. But again, if someone is anemic, unko problem aata hai. But again, if you compare, then majority of the problems you will find in urban sector than in rural sector. And again, when we started talking about cloth pads, there were ladies who didn't wanted to accept it because, the movie came out, Padman. So when the movie came out, Padman, everyone wanted to distribute sanitary napkins. But it got so difficult because उनको ऐसे ही change करना था that, कपड़ा अच्छा नहीं है, आप ये pads पे switch कर लो. So it gets so difficult for us to, convince them कि अब आप वापस से जो चीज़ use कर रहे थे, आप उससे वापस से उसी चीज पे आ जाओ. It gets very difficult, and there are places where they'll be like, we have enough pads to use, because they have so many people who have went there and distributed. But again, so like I mentioned, पहले कपड़ा use करते थे. Again, we are asking them to use कपड़ा. I would just want to clear what is the reason behind it. Again, so when early days, when you would dry that कपड़ा, you would hide it under some other cloth to dry it. Movie में भी दिखाया कि वो गंदा कपड़ा, I mean even after washing, she is hanging it under some other कपड़ा. मतलब एक वो कपड़ा है, उसके ऊपर एक और ढकने के लिए कपड़ा है, so that people don't get to know. So no bacteria killing is happening. Again, she wraps it and she keeps it under the that trunk she has. But again, so every time we go for donation camps or we go for a pad distribution, we take 15-20 minutes to just talk about it, how to use it. So in our case, firstly, that's a kapda that you just put on your panty. But when you talk about cloth pad, it has a wing, how we have it in our normal pads. So you are very sure that it will not move. Again, so that's a very comfort and you are easy ki ye khiskega nahi. And other thing is, we tell them how to wash it. So when you tell them how to wash it, is you just tell them the process and make sure you tell them that, jab bhi aap sukha rahe, you dry it like, this way. So sun is exposed to both the sides. That kills the bacteria. And when you keep it, you make sure that you fold and keep it in a safe place. So again, bacteria is not there. And before using it, like, aapka cycle chalu ho raha hai, again wash it and you just do it on the sun, because that's a natural bacterial killer. So that's the reason, because pehle wo ढक के सुखाते थे, and that is not killing the bacteria. And again, you get stains because it keeps moving. This is giving you more comfort and it's more easier for you to use. And again, I stopped using like commercialized like plastic pads long back. So I can't really recall what is the cost it would cost them. But again, if you compare the cost, again, it's very pocket friendly to you. Because cloth pad, it will stay for 2 years or 3 years. It depends on your usage. But if you do another pads like which is non-reusable, then you have to keep incurring that cost again and again. और ऐसा तो है नहीं घर में एक ही female है. You might have daughter, you might have your mother-in-law, you yourself, your sister, anyone and everyone. Because वहाँ पे तो I have a house help. She has 3 daughters and herself 4 people menstruating in one house. So you understand the cost. Yeah. So it's pocket friendly also.
What are another thing that struck was using pills to delay your periods. So what are your thoughts on that? I believe that they are very harmful to your body in various ways.
So firstly, we don't appreciate doing that because the important thing that happens in our body when we get our cycles is we are already going up with so much of hormonal changes because that is the peak time. सारे changes हो रहे हैं, puberty changes भी तभी हो रहे हैं हमारी body में, and menstruation is one of the biggest change that a female or menstruator goes through. अब she has to accept that her breast is enlarging. She has to accept her shoulders are enlarging. She has to accept n number of things that is currently happening in her body. And then, over the time when you have already accepted it and you have to understand that so many hormonal changes are happening in your body, not just while you are in your puberty. Even every month we get cycles, we are having hormonal changes. So the moment you pop a pill in your system, again you are disbalancing and playing around with your hormones. So which is not good. I mean, why to delay? Until and unless it's a very much needed thing, I'm sure, but nowadays there are so many products that are useful to, maybe if you are into some sports and you have some tournament or something happening, maybe then you would want to do it. But again, you have so many alternatives to, things to, use a product that will not leak, or if you are going through a pain, then there are ways to, you can't finish that pain. एक बार में तो वो जाएगा नहीं. Until and unless, some miracle is happening. But there are ways, either you can just take a painkiller for that time. Even for painkiller, we don't, appreciate that कि आप कभी भी जितना बार आपको cramps आ रहा you pop a painkiller. Because what is the need? You know it's going to happen, just accept it and do the ways that is going to help you cure it, or do something that is going to, make you relaxed. Like hot water bag or yoga asanas. There are n number of things that can be done. So why to play with your hormones and just pop a pill in your system? Because abhi cycle aapka kharab hua, abhi cycle break hua, then next month ka cycle will break. And if you keep doing it and if you make a habit out of it, then it's not a good thing. Like I know someone, she would, just because she gets very bad cramps, she would pop a pill. Every time she would know कि मेरे को किसी function में जाना है, she would pop a pill कि यार I can't take the pain, so I'll just. Because of this, it led to n number of things. She's gaining weight now. It's getting very difficult for her to reduce unwanted facial hairs because तब के लिए हमको लगता है कि ठीक है दवाई खा ली and we are good to go. But you don't understand what is happening over the time, so which is not good. Yeah, so we don't really appreciate taking pills to delay or just to relieve your cramps. There are other ways to do it until and unless it's needed. मतलब इसके बिना चलेगा ही नहीं. That's when you do it.
Let's talk about the period stimulation camp you guys have
Yes,
been
so excited about it.
Yeah, so actually we had a flea called Shades of Red and with another NGO called Ubhar. So we started this period simulator where we just wanted all the non-menstruator to come and just feel the cramps that every menstruator goes through. So eventually it was a hit as everyone knows that it was all over the social media. Yeah. But again, it was with consent that from then onwards we took it on our site and we have included that in a module called non-menstruator let's talk periods. So I would just want to talk about the name non-menstruator. Let's talk about periods, because it's not just females who bleed. There are other genders who bleed. So we just call it non-menstruator. Let's call periods. Let's talk periods, sorry. And so the main thing that every time we go to any institution or anywhere where we are doing the session, we make sure that, we just give them a disclaimer that this activity is not for fun. Because today I am making you do this because I want you to be sensitized towards the pain that a menstruator is going through. I am not here to see how much pain you can bear. And I think last year we did a campaign with some organization, and that's when, which was a good idea, where their point was, I'll give you a letter pad and you're sitting on a chair, you have a period simulator, you have to write a letter to your boss for a vacation or anything, and that period simulator is on. बैठ के period simulator लेना is very easy, not very easy, but still you know कि वो current आएगा, तुम्हारा दिमाग कहीं और नहीं है. But in that case, he had to write the letter also and take that pain also. So that was more effective, because as a female, if I am doing, 9 to 5 job, मेरे को cramps आ रहे हैं और वो कभी भी आ सकते हैं, मुझे बोल के नहीं आएंगे कि मैं आ रहा हूँ, और मैं PC पे काम भी कर रही हूँ. If not on PC, I'm working, I don't know, as a chef, I would say I'm working in a kitchen and suddenly I get a cramp. So I'm not going to sit ki haan bas ho gaya mera. That's the case. So the major reason was to sensitize non-menstruator regarding this topic, and we always do that, and we not really appreciate people who just do it as fun activity. So it's just a thing to use it for sensitizing non-menstruator. And we have had experience where, after the cramps, people just confessing, maybe with their wives or maybe with any menstruator they have come across, where they are like, we salute you or we are proud of you. Like people talking about this on camera.
My God.
मुझे लगता था कि तुम तो ऐसे ही बोलते हो, but today I know, it's not same as what we go through. It's a similar pain, similar sensation, I would say, that happens in the system. To know what happens, it's not same, because it's something artificial that is happening. So artificial and originality can't be same. So
Some of our guy friends, they get confused when we are going through this. I think we can have them volunteer. They'll understand at least what happens actually.
It is very important to make people aware. Yeah. And even I guess in South Indian traditions, when a girl has her first period, it is celebrated. Yes. It is celebrated like, it's her birthday, kind of something. So do you have any idea about that ritual?
So I mean, we just always, every time, because that's the stage where every child is growing. So be it a boy, be it a girl. So we just ask parents to just forget about celebration for now, because वो हमारे case में है ही नहीं. Celebration is not happening currently. At least make it as a table talk for them. So for example, if I see maybe my body is just, I'm getting fat. So maybe I would make it comfortable enough for me that I can go talk to my mother about it. Because आप मुझे अगर already signals दे रहे हो that the moment you will come and I'll talk about XYZ to you, you will make a fuss out of it. तो मैं आपके पास आऊंगी ही नहीं, या कभी आपने मेरे से ही वो बात नहीं की है. So how am I even going to come and talk about it? Because abhi bhi there are parents and there are kids, they get to know about menstruation in schools. As a parent, they would not say, because they'll think कि अगर मैंने बता दिया वो किसी और को जाके बोलेगा, फिर वहाँ से the cycle will go on. But again, that's your duty to tell your kids at the right age. For example, if she's already 13, 14, abhi ka to age is what, girls get their periods early and the menopause has also, uska age bhi kam ho gaya hai. So you have to understand your daughter might get periods anytime. So if she's not aware about it, firstly, if she sees a blood spot, she'll panic. just because she doesn't know about it, then again she will think कि मैं अब किसको जाके बोलूं, मेरी friend को बोलूं या मैं teacher को जाके बोलूं, because I only don't know what has happened with me. So it gets very difficult firstly to give that safe environment firstly to talk about it, because I'm sure when the celebration happens, even males and other non-menstruator, they are also part of it and they are also celebrating
Because I also think this is important because mentally it affects a lot.
a lot. Because when you know ki aaj, for example, if two friends like you and me, we are talking and I be like, listen, I could just feel that I am just gaining weight, and you are not at that stage, so you will give me you will have no clue on me. So what will you say me? And if same thing, if I do it to Google, will give me unnecessary
Oh my god,
knowledge.
never do that.
Yeah. So it's better you only be there, because there are times where हमारे टाइम भी स्कूल टाइम में बहुत बार होता था. Some females they don't gain, some females they gain, and you be like ये तो अभी भी पतली है, and then that FOMO you have कि यार FOMO भी हो जाता है, and then you like यार she is तो looking prettier but मेरे face पे acne आ रहे हैं, उसके face पे नहीं आ रहे हैं. All the small things that just put you back, and you see so many changes in your body already that you don't know. But again, if parents are talking about it, I know that I can talk to her about it. Not just parents, like it just can be a dinner talk over the table. This is happening, that is happening. And for boys, getting beards and everything, there are people who will make, "Arey, teri to daadi aane lagi." Arey, you make fun of him, but again, you explain him that this happens. This is very normal. Just accept it and go with the flow. So yeah, it's very important to give that space to kids. I feel especially nowadays, seeing the social media and internet access they have, you can't stop anyone.
I remember an incident. I have actually grown up in an only girls school.
Okay.
So till my 8th standard, I was in an only girls school, and it had its own sets of pros and cons. The pro was that we had a counselor, we had our teachers who had communicated very well to us that what are you going to face, what is going to happen to you. And even I personally got it at a very young age, like 11 something. So now what was the con was, because we were all girls and nobody felt shy discussing about it, the comparison thing came in like brutally, because even there were periods, there was puberty hitting you, your body was changing. So I still remember we had a class of 42 and one girl got her menstruation, and it spread like a bushfire. It was like a gossip around your tiffin boxes, and that girl was made feel so uncomfortable because even her body was developing in a way. She was having acne, she was having different changes in her body, and the same way vice versa, when majority of the girls had entered into menses, and there were some girls who did not get it that early, and that's completely normal. There is a certain age range when you get it, and then those people were made fun of that you're not mature enough now because you have not got your menses. So I guess this was such a toxic environment that was there.
Just,
I can
I
feel
don't
it
know,
now.
It has become, I feel in that terms, abhi ka generation is little better. Yeah.
Better.
They,
Very much better.
Yeah. Like when I talk about this Gen Zs, I'm like, I don't know where they'll go, but all I know is
They're actually Gen Z.
positivity that they take in terms of, their body also. You see, no matter how fat the girl is or how thin the girl is, maybe I'll still think twice before walking out in those same clothes, but that girl, like, both of them, the both categories, they'll just be fine with it. I mean, which is very good. They have accepted their body, and body positivity is so much in when you talk about this generation. I feel that's amazing. मतलब हमारे को तो कोई कुछ हमारे घर वाले बोल दे कि यार मोटी लग रही है या ये ऐसा हो रहा है, हम ही कपड़े चेंज करके आ
Oh my
जाएंगे. But
God.
they'll just embrace whatever they are, and that's the amazing thing that is happening.
And the environment, matlab, it's
the foundation of the friendships. I mean, we clicked instantly. I mean, when we started college,
Okay.
we were the first people to meet, and us time pe everything was ki naya naya hai. We are just 18-year-olds entering college, and we did not know anybody. So I think friendships play a major role when it comes to this.
Major role. I've been surrounded by girls till like 15, till the initial 15 years of my life, but I have never, I'm saying this on camera, that I've never felt that much safe and empowered as I feel around these three people. They will roast me to the core, but they will also give me that safe environment, check on me whenever it's needed. So I'm very grateful for that, and it is very
I'm
important.
so happy. This is the first time वो ऐसे तारीफ कर रहे होगी मेरी, especially on camera.
No, I feel that's the time where you know who your actual friends are.
You find your tribe.
Even
during
guys,
this time.
they are very sensitized towards this situation.
See, now they are. I still remember we had one non-menstruator, let's talk periods in CB Patel. There was one boy and he was so much keen and he was like, I just want you guys to spread knowledge about PCOD and PCOS as much as you can, because like there were 50-60 people standing there, but you know, he was so much like itna intensely bol raha tha, and for a while we felt that we think कि इसके कोई बहुत close वाले को, you know, maybe they have PCOD or PCOS, but again he kept mentioning and he was like, you know, we as non-menstruator, we don't understand the pain that girl is going through. Not getting periods doesn't mean you are pregnant. There are so many other reasons that the girl is not getting her periods, and here you make fun out of it. You talk about mood swings. Do you ever sit with that girl who is suffering from PCOD, PCOS? अगर बोल दिया period miss हो गया, do you ever sit with her to know? उसको पूछा है कभी कि तुमको कितना टेंशन हो जाता है when you miss your period, not because she is worried that I am pregnant, just because she knows what hormonal changes and imbalance is happening in her body. For you it's very easy to say कि तेरा तो हर महीने का ये होता है, but come on, let's just talk reality, what happens. I feel there are people who are just up to talk about it. Like हम बच्चों को देखते हैं kids module में, they are so much into about knowing things. Like we have 8th grade ka kid from Fountainhead, Arjun, and we have like 2-3 more boys. They are always up for it. Like they would never be like कि नहीं हम ये चीज पे बात नहीं करेंगे या XYZ topic पे हम बात नहीं करेंगे या हमको नहीं करना है. No, never. Like even while the session, if we ask them to hold the pads, do this, do that, tampons, cup, anything and everything, they are up for it. मतलब they'll give no reaction. And I feel the point is हमारे time पे reproduction system, मतलब reproduction सिर्फ I think 8th class में या 9th class में 8 chapter पे आता है.
One chapter.
That chapter was also skipped half the time.
One paragraph. हाँ वो भी skip कर देंगे, या तो principal पढ़ाएगी या vice principal आके पढ़ाएगी. And that too she'll just tell and they'll ask you to just ratify the answer, और वो आएगा भी exam में. But you are not ready to talk about the reproductive system in the society where everyone, eventually that's what is gonna just, life is gonna revolve around. I still remember हमारी एक मैम थी, she was very I mean she was not so active, like not so active नहीं, I would say she was very calm and sweet and things like that. She walked into the class, और जब वो चैप्टर होता है सबको पता होता है कि आज तो यही चैप्टर पढ़ेंगे, 100% अटेंडेंस होगी, लड़के तो और स्मार्ट है. So boys were giggling and even though she was like, you know, अगर उनका मजाक भी बना दो ना, she would not react to it. So that day she was like, if your parents would have laughed like this, then you would have never been here.
Oh my God, savage.
Yeah. And we were like, it makes sense, right? Even अभी के बच्चों को फिर भी पता है how reproductive system works. If you ask them what periods is, they will give you full definition. They might not know क्या actually होता है, but they'll give you the definition. हमारे टाइम के बच्चों को पूछो, उस टाइम पूछते, पता ही नहीं.
We were taught about how plants reproduce, but how we humans actually do.
I to still remember, I never had a session on periods. Even though my mom thought कि मेरे को स्कूल से पता चल जाएगा, मेरे को मेरी दादी ने बताया, मेरी मम्मी को लगा स्कूल से पता चल जाएगा, पर स्कूल वालों ने तो कभी बताया नहीं मेरे को. एंड एक बार हमको बॉयज से अलग किया, वो भी ये बोलने के लिए कि तुम वॉशरूम में तुम जाते हो तो नोट्स मत लिख दिया करो. अरे कम ऑन, दैट वाज द केस इन आवर टाइम. अभी का आई थिंक इट्स लिटिल बेटर. टुडे आल्सो देयर आर स्कूल्स व्हिच दे से कि हमको गर्ल्स बॉयज का साथ में नहीं करना. रीजन बीइंग बिकॉज लड़के के या लड़की के पेरेंट हो सकता है कंफर्टेबल नहीं हो. बिकॉज इफ टुडे आई टेल माय सन अबाउट पीरियड्स, he'll come home, he'll ask mother, or he'll ask the sister, or any menstruator he'll walk up to and he'll ask. So that's fine, no? अगर कहीं से पता चल गया, so you give that comfort zone and talk about it, so he's not going out of the family and talking about it.
It's still a stigma, but somewhere, you know, अभी भी अगर कोई पैड कोई मांग लेना, they'll hide it ऐसे, they'll walk to the washroom आराम से शांति से acting like अच्छा पता नहीं कौन सी जंग लड़ने जा रहे हैं.
I feel touch wood with our team especially. So मेरे घर के भी all my house help, my driver, उनको पता है कि ये इनके पैड इधर से उधर होते हैं, so they never made faces. They never wanted to ask me also because maybe eventually they got to know. But again, they never made faces and it got so comfortable. अभी भी मुझे अगर मेरे ड्राइवर को बोलना होता है ना, तो मैं उसको बोल देती हूँ कि भैया वो कार्टून पड़ा होगा, आप कार्टून ये आंटी के घर जाके दे दो. And same is with all the, you know, especially with the core team because that's when the things are happening around. So सबके साथ ही है, like all the drivers are also, you know, at times कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि यार ड्राइवर देना है, so you just do like this and you just take it. It's all good. He'll also come. भाभी ने 100 pads दिए. So that's the comfort that, you know, even in the team, we have it with their house helps or drivers and everything. Like, I mean, that's the comfort that we have. I feel after Kamakhya, I तो feel मेरे को ऐसा लगता है मैं ही बहुत ज़्यादा open हो गई periods के बारे में. Sometimes my dad is like, so I usually bloat during periods. So my dad is like, eventually he would say, did you stop working out because I think you have gained. And I would be like, नहीं पापा मैं जा रही हूँ. How will I explain him that I'm about to get my periods and I'm bloated? Now if he says, I'm like, पापा periods आने वाले ना, तो periods के 5 दिन पहले मेरे को ऐसा हो ही जाता है. So now he stopped saying only like, you know, maybe you're not going gym or you look little plumpy, nothing. Now he knows my thing कि हाँ पता है मेरे को. So he is okay. You take your space. I am taking my space.
Yes, and let's talk about the sustainability angle as well, because again we need a lot of awareness about it, because 500 to 800 years to decompose one single pad, and on an average I guess we use 3 to 4 minimum per day. So
3 days का cycle if you take
minimum, the impact is
crazy. So again, we not just raise awareness, we employ women also. So how do we do the employment is we ask them to stitch cloth pads for us. So that's how we give them livelihood also. So, you know, it's helping both ways. You know, just to the environment also, to them also. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. So when we talk about sustainability is something that is not harming the environment and it's in the favor of environment. So there are products in the market that are you know, sustainable. Not always. For example, if I give you example of a cup, so you would say, Arusha, that is silicone. How is that sustainable? You know, so that is sustainable because it's going to last from 7 to 8 years or maybe more than that. So you're not incurring any other cost. वो एक ही कप है जिसको बाद में 10 साल बाद उसको मेरे को dispose करना है. Fine. So I am saving so much, even on my pocket, even on my environment. Then again, it's when you talk about pads like, you know, commercially pads that are available in the market, like how we talk about Stay Free, Whisper. So what do you think is it's made out of?
plastic.
And
No clue.
so it has plastic, 90% plastic it has. Then it has gel, जो soak कर लेता है. Then, you know, when you use pad, you get fragrance also. So that is there. They use bleach because when you see the pad, it's white. And I am not saying that we always, you know, motivate them to use cloth pad. There are biodegradable pads which are made out of bamboo pulps. So if you take that biodegradable pads and non-biodegradable pads, you will see one biodegradable pads is little yellowish in color. I would say cream in color because that's not bleached. And this is bleached. So the moment you use, like it's been 3 years now, I've switched to cloth pad. So when I had issues of, getting rashes when I use pads, and redness, rashes and itching, everything. Like you say it and it was there. And the moment I switched to cloth pad, I had no issues. Rashes is still fine. Just imagine the fragrance that is being used and that is touching your vagina. How healthy do you think?
Oh my god.
That is. So it's very not unhygienic, I would say, but it's not healthy for your body, and that is the most sensitive area of your body. And you just imagine you wrap a plastic on your hand and you leave it for half an hour. हमको एक घुटन होने लग जाएगा हाथ में. The sweat you will get and everything. So just imagine we use that same pad for 5-6 hours. Minimum तो लोग कर ही लेते हैं, या 3-4 घंटे भी तो कर ही लेते हैं. Biodegradable products भी अभी बहुत आ गए हैं. But then again you have to make sure how every time if we are health freak we check ingredients. Again you have to check. उसमें लिखा होता है because they can't fool you. And the moment you check, it's a thing. जो चीज प्रोडक्ट में सबसे ज्यादा होती है that comes first. For example, if we see normal pads, so plastic content ज्यादा है, so it has to be as per the law, that has to be the first thing that comes on the ingredient list. So you have to check that, and or maybe just do your researches which is biodegradable, which is non-biodegradable. या अपने आप को claim करते हैं biodegradable है, and how much they actually are. Then people use tampons. Again, tampons also have their own pros and cons. Again, they are also similar, but you get biodegradable tampons. But the moment you insert it and you remove it, there are small particles of cotton that might stay inside your body, which might keep accumulating in your body. You never know. And then there are n number of products in the market. You talk about period panties, which are very similar to cloth pads. They have a बचपन में nappy आती थी, similar like nappy. Then there are people who use panty liners. Again, brands have started getting cloth panty liners to make your life easier. And then there are some disc which we are not just talking about it, but some disc has also come up which is similar to cups. But again, to a surprise, urban sector is getting aware of it. मतलब awareness आ रहा है उनमें, but still it's not there because there are parents who उनके तो mostly ऐसा होता है, उनके तो periods या जाने वाले होते हैं या चले गए होते हैं. So it gets very difficult कि हम बच्चों को knowledge दे रहे हैं और वो knowledge उनको अपने parents को देके convince करना. For example, if I am a sports girl, so if I am in my 10th grade or 11th grade, if I want to go walk up to my mom and say कि mom I want to switch to cup, सबसे पहली बात मैं तो जाऊंगी ही नहीं बोलने. कौन समझाएगा उनको cup क्या होता है? And then again we have had girls who are like कि I don't mind switching to another product, but it gets very difficult for me to convince my mom. And again it's a thing where it's a myth where parents believe that if you use tampon or if you use a cup, it breaks your hymen, like your hymen ruptures and you lose your virginity. But they don't understand there are other ways also where you lose your virginity, where your hymen breaks. The little trauma happens and it breaks, it ruptures. So that can be from a horse riding or maybe some gymnastic thing, maybe cycling. It is not necessary that any artificial product that is going in your body will do that, right? So बहुत बार ऐसा होता है लाइक जैसे अर्बन में हमारे को थोड़ी डिफिकल्टीज होती है वैसे रूरल में भी होती है. अर्बन में भी इट्स वेरी मच सिमिलर, बट रूरल में भी इट गेट्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू चेंज द माइंडसेट अगेन बिकॉज करंटली द थिंग वाज दे वर ऑलरेडी यूजिंग क्लॉथ, दे वर स्टॉप्ड, दे वर आस्क्ड टू यूज पैड्स. नाउ अगेन वी आर स्टेपिंग इन एंड वी आर लाइक कि आप ये यूज करो. But it's still manageable because we have n number of reasons to explain them. For example, कि pocket friendly है ये आपका, ठीक है, आपको इससे खुजली उजली नहीं होगा. आपका अगर ये फट जाता है तो आप खुद बना सकते हैं. So it's never ending process and it's good for your pocket also. But when you come to urban, they have the full source of income and full source of money, जहाँ पे they can afford anything and everything. But again, you should use your resources in the right way.
You were talking about parents. I have come across gynecologists also who are so judgmental, and even like they also address it in a way कि ये तो हर महीने होता है. Just bear with it. It's natural. But we need something like they know it biologically in a way that other people don't. So I guess they should be more sensitive towards that.
They have the power to explain it in the best way.
At times they just feel कि हाँ ठीक है हमारे बोलने पे भी ये नहीं मानने वाले हैं. So just let it go. But again, so to talk about this, we were to do a session where we were planning what to do. So we thought कि हम panel रखें कि just talk show रखें. Talk show as in हमारे team members and whosoever wants to attend. The reason behind this was कि अगर मैं एक प्रोफेशनल हूँ तो मेरे को तो बहुत नॉलेज है, आपसे ज्यादा नॉलेज शायद मेरे पास है अगर मैं प्रोफेशनल हूँ. लाइक इफ आई टॉक अबाउट गायनेक, फाइन. सो इवन इफ यू हैव क्वेश्चंस, आई वुड गिव यू अ लिटरल आंसर टू इट. इफ यू विल टेल मी आरुषा मेरे को इतने दिन पीरियड्स आते हैं, ये है वो है, आई विल गिव यू अ वेरी लिटरल आंसर टू दिस कि यू ट्राई डूइंग दिस. But when it comes to, or maybe you in the other situation, I am a mother of a daughter. She is growing. She is about to hit her puberty. Same like you. But again, I run an organization where I might have little more experience than you because I talk to more 10-15 people of the same category. Again, if you will talk to me about it, you will be at peace and you will understand more because you will feel कि Arusha भी same situation से जा रही है. So she understands me more. Because if I tell her कि Arusha यार जब भी देखो, like you know, my daughter, she is महीने में इसके 3 दिन आते हैं where she is like just dancing on my head, पूरा सिर मतलब घर पूरा सिर पे उठा लेती है. And if my daughter is doing the same, I'll tell you I totally understand. But you know what? I do this to calm her down. So you will feel that she has been through this pain or she has been through this cycle. That's why she is giving me this solution. But again, when you see a professional, तो यही हमारा conversation था कि not everyone is looking for a definition वाला knowledge. There are people who are actually looking for out of experience. So I can feel you. और बहुत बार like how you mentioned, I think previously कि as a girl also, if we as an organization अगर हम उनका session लेते हैं, so they are little more open than they will be open to any gynaec who will do the same session.
Yes, exactly.
Because they can, in short, vibe कर सकते हैं हमारे साथ. मेरा इनके साथ vibe बैठ रहा है, आपके साथ vibe नहीं बैठ रहा है. You know, I feel you will understand me little more than she'll understand me. एक वो चीज आती ही है. Doesn't matter, it is very much important. For example, if there are girls who are like कि हमको tampon use करना है, cup use करना है, so we be like, firstly we say that you do it after 18. Secondly, you have to go to a gynaec before using it for your own safety. We do tell them when it's required, it's required. But again, there are situations where we also understand कि that's the reason we have to keep training our teams constantly कि क्या नया आ रहा है, क्या नहीं है, what are the changes that are happening. So we also have to be updated with our teams. So we also have teams our team has doctors, we have medical interns, then we have menstruator trainers. So we also have to constantly keep doing our researches because there are people who are relying on us.
And I recently remember an elderly woman once told me that I was just ranting a lot about why are there so much of taboos, why can't people go into the kitchen, why are they called unpure. Then she told me that today this notion has developed that you can't go to the kitchen because you're unpure. But back then, in the early years, women had to do a lot of physical labor in their daily lives, fetching the woods and all of that. So that was the reason. The main idea was for them to rest and not enter the kitchen. I don't know from where this impurity and all those notions have arrived.
Same is the thing if we talk about women not being able to go to temples. The actual logic.
Climbing was there, and always temple. If you see Purane mandir, they have always been on the mountains and peaks. So firstly, you have to go, and it is said there is a reason why the temple was placed on the XYZ height, because of the energies. So they say that women is already going up with so much in her body, so her energy is also on different levels. So both the energies, they don't match.
Yeah, it's like when women are menstruating, their energy travels from the bottom to the top.
And even जो भी मंदिर होते हैं, you have to go through forest, and all the wild animals, they can sniff your blood, which is not which is not safe.
See, that makes so much sense when it is said in that
All
way.
the reasons have logic reasons, but it's eventually कि बोलने में it's just there.
It's like Chinese whisper going around through ages.
I've had friends who would come, and मेरे लिए ऐसा होता था कि all my Marwadi friends, उनके पापा को पता तो होता था कि ये लोग periods में, but again they don't want to talk about it. It's like so funny. So once my friend came and she got something in her tiffin. I was like, क्यों आज तेरे घर पे ये क्यों आया टिफिन में? स्कूल टाइम. शी इज लाइक, वो क्या है, मम्मी को पैर से छिपकली लग गई तो मम्मी किचन में नहीं जा सकती, तो मेरे पापा ने खाना बनाया. फिर इवेंचुअली पता चला कि ये छिपकली, कॉकरोच सब चूहा हुआ.
Thing to say कि my mom is on her period. Eventually after 2-3 years.
And this was clear कि ये periods का ड्रामा है, ये इनका कुछ छिपकली विपकली नहीं है. Again some other friend, I was like, listen, why did you get this? She's like, आज क्या मेरे पापा ने खाना बनाया. तो I was like, एक बात बता, openly you don't talk about periods, correct? But तेरे पापा को तो पता ही चल गया होगा कि तेरी मम्मी periods में या तू भी periods में, because you know there are families we are not allowed to have water, मटके से. अरे तुम इतना सारा जब कर रहे हो तो male in your house will not get to know that you are in your periods and you don't want to talk about periods. It's like, what is wrong with you guys? Which was very funny. I was like, यार तुमको तो periods आते होंगे तो सबको पता चल जाता होगा ना. She's like, why? I was like, तुम किचन में जाते नहीं हो, खाना कोई और बनाता है, पानी पीना है तो भी किसी और को बोलो कि पानी ला दे. And there are people sleeping on the floor. You're not allowed to sleep on the bed. So everything that you are doing is very much clear that you are in your periods. I was like, who does that?
The chipkali wala. Oh my god.
And luckily I never had to face. So अगर मैं periods में by chance किसी के घर भी चली जाऊँ, मुझे पूछना पड़ता है, बोलना पड़ता है कि मैं periods में हूँ तो मैं यहाँ जा सकती हूँ ना. My best friend, even at her house there are things, and every time I go her I have to ask her, listen, I'm in my periods, where can I go till इधर से उधर जा सकते हैं कि वहाँ तक जा सकते हैं कि नहीं जा सकते हैं. But again, it's like, you know, I always believe in this. You give me my space, I'll give you your space. I don't want to argue on your point of view. All I can do is I can give you knowledge. If you want to accept it, accept it. If not, then let's not come to a point where we are just arguing. It's okay. You give me my space, I am giving you your space. We respect each other's space. And just not make a fuss about it कि इसने ऐसा बोल दिया, कैसे बोल दिया. It's okay. Maybe ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप वो चीज से बड़े हुए हो, मैं वैसी चीजों से बड़ी हुई हूँ और शायद मैंने उस पर रिसर्च किया है, शायद मेरे को वो चीज में ज्यादा लॉजिक लग रहा है. And it's better to not argue and just respect the spaces. Give as much knowledge as you have. You give it. If they want to take it, well and good. If not, then I respect your space. You respect my space. Till the time I am not coming and poking you, you should also just not do it.
It was lovely talking to you, and we have come to the near end of our episode, but we want to have these conversations. We want to keep communicating and stay in link with Kamakhya India, because I guess the work that they do is truly commendable. Every woman can relate to you, and every woman feels empowered when you guys give such a safe environment.
It's just there, like even in teams we have females, or I would say menstruator, who are some are working, some are not working, some are students, but still they 365 days same enthusiasm. Like one call and we have our team there. कि हाँ ठीक है, we are here for you. Like we have had situations कि हमको कोई छोटे गांव में जाना पड़ता है तो we have to think twice कि यहाँ इनको लेके जा सकते हैं ना, but they are also so accepting and they are so enthusiastic कि why not? We'll go, we'll enjoy it. And they are also learning. And I feel when you learn young, it just gets into your system. And you don't need to then mold yourself ki ab aisa kare. It's just there in your system. I would say more than just talking about, menstruation, it's the gratitude also that you do towards the society, which is, I think you should just make a habit of doing gratitude. And this is like charity begins at home. So we always appreciate, house helps bhi hai jaise. So I had a house help. I told her ki, what do you use when you get your periods? Firstly, she was like, she got mad. What is she talking about? मतलब periods ऐसे कैसे बात कर दिया इसने? Like I could see it on her face कि क्या बोल दिया इसने. Then I was like, तू कौन सा pad use करती है? And this conversation happened in my hall, and she had to see everywhere, and then she had to respond. I was like, listen, तू आराम से बात कर मेरे से, कोई problem नहीं है. And then she was like, she gave all the details, and I was like, मैं तेरे को pad दूंगी, तू अब से वही pad use करेगी. जब pad आ जाएगा, मैं तेरे को कैसे यूज करना है वो सिखा दूंगी. She was like, fair enough. 2 months later, mom walks up to me and she's like कि इसको periods में problem आ रहे हैं. Periods में problem उसको उस महीने से तो नहीं आए होंगे, उसको कितने टाइम से आ रहे होंगे. But again, she could feel that safe space here where she could talk about it. Again, she was like कि डॉक्टर ये बोलता है. Again, rural area में they don't want to go see a doctor because they know एक तो खर्चा आ जाएगा, list दे देंगे checkup की, and then again, things like that would happen. So they also refrain. So that month went and पूछा मैंने अपने blood test करवाया, तो she was like हाँ blood test करवा लिया. After a month, daughter is saying me कि मेरे को तो पीरियड सही से नहीं आ रहे. मैंने बोला तेरी मम्मी ने बोला था ब्लड टेस्ट कराए, बोले नहीं करवाए, ब्लड टेस्ट नहीं करवाया, बहुत पैसे ले लेते हैं. I was like कि ठीक है चल, तेरे को क्या हो रहा है तू मेरे को बता. And then for example bleeding is not happening या जो भी है. So I was like you eat healthy food, no, like iron rich food ये वो. And then eventually that got solved. And उसकी मम्मी को बैठाया, मैंने बोला आपके घर में 3 बेटियां हैं, आप खुद हो 4 लड़कियां हो जो आपको जिसको पीरियड्स आते हैं, तो आप है ना ये जो दिया है ना ये यूज करेगी, उसके बाद आप पूछना इसको कैसा, और आपकी जो दोनों बेटियां उनको भी चेंज कराना. She was like fair enough. After 3-4 months she was like my both the sisters also they want to switch. I was like fair enough. I was like कि ठीक है, अब ये ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो हमको instant response देते हैं. I'll get the feedback instantly. And here I can talk to you कि her name is Mukti. I would be like कि मुक्ति तू क्या यूज कर रही है, कैसा जा रहा है. If I do a distribution, I can't. मैं 2 महीने बाद भी वो गांव में जाके नहीं देखूंगी कि कौन क्या यूज कर रहा है. And I'll not come across that same female. Then she was to get married. Few months back she got married, and before marriage she walked up to me and she's like, दीदी आप 3 पैकेट मेरे लिए और वो पैड्स ऑर्डर कर दो. I felt so happy. मतलब even if I have had sessions with n number of people, उससे ज्यादा खुशी मुझे यहाँ मिली because she just walked up to me openly and she said कि मेरे गांव में ये पैड्स नहीं मिलेंगे तो आप मेरे लिए पैड्स ऑर्डर कर दोगे, which gave me a trust that she is using it and she will use it because today she is concerned कि मैं ये चीज यूज कर रही हूँ, वहां मुझे नहीं मिलेगी तो आप मेरे को मंगवा के दो. So that is building trust with each other कि now I know you are not, मतलब मैंने दे दिया, फ्री में मिल रहा था तो तूने ले लिया, तू यूज कर रही है, तेरे को डिफरेंस पता चल रहा है, that's the reason you are using it. And same, I have helpers, it's same with them. So I feel it's just gratitude that you do towards the society, not just we at the end of the day हम कितना भी कर ले, it's just self satisfaction जब मिलता है ना, the smiles we see or maybe the situations that we hear and we are able to give them solutions to, that's when we are like कि हाँ, we understand all the appreciations that we get, but that self satisfaction comes when you see that smile or that instant happening and you be like कि हाँ यार हमने कुछ कहीं तो change किया है, it happens.
So I would like to thank you and the whole team of Kamakhya.
Thank you so much.
For giving our platform, the Weird and Wise podcast, an opportunity to discuss such a taboo but amazing topic.
I think this is never ending topic.
So I hope you all had fun and learned something from this
I'm
episode.
sure they also had a good class.
And this was the single one episode where we did not have questions ready. We did not have any outline ready. It's like it's a topic that we resonate with so much. We don't need questions on it. It will
Self.
Yeah,
हम
we
हमारे बारे में बात कर रहे
have
हैं.
our
We're talking
own share
about
of
us.
discomforts,
Just
experiences,
take
everything.
pride and just bleed.
So let's
Wrap it up, yeah.
So as I previously said, I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from it, because we know we did learn a lot. And we'll be back next week with another such amazing episode. Till then, keep listening and watching to the Weird and Wise podcast.